Ghana want reparations, but you Hamites, Africans, enslaved us Israelites, Negroes, in the slave trade too. Get right into it, but I'm going to give all honor, glory, and praises to the Most High Yahawah and His only begotten Son, YAHAWASHI, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus, because the letter J did not exist 2,000 years ago. Double honors to my elders at Great Millstone, taught me this truth through the Spirit. Singing honors to the elect. Peace and blessings to the 1/3, and to the confusion of faces in the four corners of the earth. Shalom. Right into it. Ghana is pursuing a UN resolution that considers African slavery the most serious crime against humanity. You notice how these heathens will come together outside of us, so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, because as of right now, they will want to recognize this. But I remember when Tariq Nasheed, when they had their rallies for reparations, there were so many people trying to sabotage it, especially the damn Africans. It's wild, ain't it? But they're the same ones who put us into captivity, now going to the UN saying that they want reparations. It's like sometimes people tend to have like selective memory, selective amnesia as to what their history were that led them up to where they are today. But we're not the same as them, because none of us have an urge to shampoo and condition our hair and cow urine and things of that nature. We're not chasing bushmeat. You know, what was it, Ozoro over there somewhere in Africa? They had a rape festival. Like, nah, we don't get down like that. All right, Exodus 11:7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. And the Egyptians, they're known for their I would say the elegant somewhat history. And the Egyptians are descended from Ham. Us dark-skinned Negroes are descended from Shem. We're not the same. Okay? Matter of fact, let's get into it really quick. This is from the Zonderland Compact Bible Dictionary. I physically have one right here in front of me, but I want you guys to look at this definition of Ham. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. So that right there cuts and kills that whole your own people sold you into slavery. No, they did not, because even biblical scholars will say that there's a distinction between the so-called Negroes that were sold on auction blocks over here in America compared to the so-called Africans who actually sold us to the Europeans and put us on auction blocks. Hence, the beginning of the movie, or the TV series, I would like to say, Roots. Watch, you'll see dark-skinned people running with Caucasian folks, European folks, coming to rally us up. The Mandingo tribe, we Kunta them. There's a complete distinction that you can even see in the TV series, right? And also, America was already inhabited by dark-skinned people for centuries, if not millenniums. Much information has come out on that. Okay? There was a book called Dark Faces We've seen, or Dark Faces we were not to see, coming to America, something to that extent. All right. Matter of fact, wait for a moment. I apologize. I butchered those names. It's a book called They Came Before Columbus by Ivan von Sertima. If I'm not mistaken, that's how you say his name. And there's another book called Unexpected Faces in America. I apologize. By Alexander von Wutenach. All right. So these are books indicating that there were black, dark-skinned people already here before Columbus, and these unexpected faces already. I mean, remember the big ass statue with the big big nose and big lips down there that they found like in Argentina or something. Yeah, the Hamites are the ones who left that there. Remember, Solomon, he used ships from Tarshish that the Hamites used, the so-called Africans, because they were great seafarers. You know, they knew how they was great with the sea. So going back and forth to America and here, we've been doing that since King Solomon time with peacocks and all of that. That's already documented history. All right, because 722 BC, the Northern Kingdom already been over here. The Northern Kingdom, when the Lord exiled Northern Kingdom, where did they go? They came over here. Second Esdras, the 13th chapter shows you that. A way of the passage for a year and a half. It said the Lord calmed the waters. What do you mean the Lord calmed the waters? Down at the tip, at the bottom of Africa, those are the choppiest waters on earth where some of the best surfers go. But you can't get through there with no ship during a certain time of the year. All of this is historical information that you would have to look up to understand. But yes, the so-called the so-called Native Americans, the Spanish-speaking tribes, they already been here before. You either call them like Taino, Arawak, Mayan, Inca, the Aztecs, the Mesquite, the Mariqua, all of those tribes. You know, they were really dark-skinned people. You know, what separated us is when 1492 came about, you know. But nonetheless, though, we are not the same. We are absolutely different people. All right, let's get back to it. Now, Ghana's asking for reparations, right? So this right here is some information that I've gathered myself. This is from a site called tragiccenter.org. .org, people. So if I'm not mistaken, like .gov, these are organizations that are funded, you know, by like non-profitable, you know, companies and things of that nature. But nonetheless, though, this is a .org, so this is valuable information. All right, Tracing Center. Listen to what it says right here, people. When descendants of the Daewoo slave trading family of Bristol, Rhode Island retraced the triangle trade of their ancestors in our documentary, Traces of the Trade, they visit the European slave forts of Cape Coast Castle and St. George Castle, Elmina. These sites were chosen because the Daewoo family traded extensively for slaves along the Gold Coast, and the most common stops were at slave forts and what is now Martin Day, Ghana. Wow. In fact, for almost 150 years, gotta say it like Jake said, Ghana on Africa's west coast was the center of the British slave trade. See, now I'm finna get mad. Y'all seen this? The Door of No Return. Remember that slave castle in Ghana? Door of No Return. El Camino Castle. And these bastards have the audacity to say that they want reparations. You see how these heathens work against us? And that's why you think the Lord said, no flesh should be saved, but the Lord shortened the days for the elect's sake. Hell, we got Esau against us, you got Moab against us, you got Elam against us, you got Ham against us, and then you got the worst of the worst, believe it or not, them 2/3 against us. We out on our side without the RAWACHAA QADASH, y'all. Right? So, don't get it twisted. The Door of No Return in Ghana refers to the infamous exit point with the Cape Coast Castle and Elmina Castle, through which millions. We're gonna differentiate on that because it wasn't that many. It was not that many of enslaved Africans, Israelites, were forced into ships during the transatlantic slave trade. These dark, narrow passages symbolize the final departure from their homeland, now serving as vital, somber memorials and UNESCO World Heritage Sites. First and foremost, go into your history on the Dahomey, on the Asante and the Dahomey Kingdom during that time. Remember, always remember this: the Kingdom of Judah that was in the west coast of Africa, 1746. This is a map. What it says right here, it says Gold Coast. It literally says Gold Coast right here, y'all. It says Slavery Coast right here. You probably can't see it. WHIDAH. It says Kingdom of JUDA. What was this? In the west coast of Africa. Why? We migrated there way back to 70 AD. We flooded in northern Africa because King Vespasian and his two sons Titus and Domitian, they was coming at us with great force or great slaughter. And they said the slave market back then were full of millions of Jakes, Israelite, dark-skinned people. You can read that from the book called From Babylon to Timbuktu. All right? And it said we flood and we inhabited northern Africa for centuries. Hence, hell, we had the kingdom of Judah in the west coast. So who the hell you think was being sold into captivity? Y'all better stop playing with us, man. Let me bring out some precepts to close out. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a bull for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Who? Let's keep reading. Yea, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. Who is Tyre and Zidon? Well, we're going to find out right now. Let's go into Zidon. I already went into Tyre earlier, but it don't give you much of a definition compared to Zidon. Tyre and Zidon, ancient Phoenician city on Mediterranean coast north of Tyre. Right? Remember, the land of Israel today was also known as the land of Palestine, was also known as the land of the Phoenicians. Ancient Phoenicians. Let's go to Strong's definition. It says, in the sense of catching fish, fishery, Sidon, the name of the son of Canaan. Canaan, and of a place in Palestine. Canaan, who are the Canaanites? So, Tyre and Zidon are descended from the Canaanites. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, over here in America that was sold, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. So the Tyre and Zidonian will be Canaanites, who the Canaanites will be Hamites, who the Hamites are Africans. All right, there's a distinction. We're not the same. So like the Lord said, what recompense would you recompense me? What would you render me? Verse 4, I'm talking about verse 4. The Lord said he was swiftly returned upon your head. Right? Verse 5, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. Yeah, they did do that when it came to the Ark of the Covenant back in the day too. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians. It literally says the word Grecian right there. Matter of fact, let's see what that says before we close out. It would say a descendant of Javan. Understand though, Esau doesn't have a heritage. So wherever he goes, he claims. The original Greeks and the original Romans, they were actually Japhetic people. They were dark-skinned people. Research the Ionians. Like it says right here, research the Ionians and the Etruscans. All right, they were dark-skinned people. The people who are in Fiji, the Samoans and Hawaiians, yeah, those will be the Japhetic people, the people of the Isles. When you read in the book of Genesis, it speaks about that, the people of the Isles, of the islands. So, going back, verse 7, behold, I will raise them, verse 6, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Because even when we was in northern Africa, hell, you can walk back to Israel, our place, but the Lord moved us far from our border, like it did north of Canaan. Meaning, the Lord said, you shall be sold unto your enemy for bondsman and bondsmaid, and no man shall buy thee, and ye shall go onto a place on the ship. Think about it. The Lord said we will go into slavery on the ship. The Lord said we shall see it no more. See what? Our homeland. And Africa is not our homeland. Understand? Behold, verse 7. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them. We're going to raise, we've been risen now, and will return your recompense upon your own head. Look at you right now throughout the whole world. It's all in Minnesota. Y'all just tearing shit up, boy. Esau, Ham, and what we say, Esau ain't nothing but Esau and Ham are just alike. Esau ain't nothing but a non-melanated Hamite, and the Hamites ain't nothing but melanated Edomites. All y'all to say. Verse 8. I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah. Right. And they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off. For the Lord hath spoken it. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Now I'm going to close out with this precept, because y'all talking about reparations. And y'all was the ones who actually push forward our slavery. So this is Revelation 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Yeah, it's a captivity. The Lord said, your ass should go into captivity. Y'all were chasing us with the sword, which the sword will be the modern day gun. The Lord said, you gonna get the same recompense. But you know, we gonna have special powers in that day. We ain't gonna be worried about it. But anyway, with that being said, I truly pray y'all was edified, fed, stay in the spirit, don't fear it, just endure it. Ask for forgiveness, pray without ceasing, stay humble, remain diligent. Kwame Sha'Allah, my flip ball, Shalom.